Oh. Okay, this is where we left off. So make sure you got this number, because this is what, just before we left, that's what Retta told us the answer was. So make sure you can get that, okay? That's just from this. After you type that in, okay? So, let's go down. We'll look at the word problems. Okay? Does everybody know what a chandelier is? Okay. It's a big light. It hangs from the ceiling. In this instance, it's so big it needs 2 chains. Okay? So, a chandelier is suspended from the ceiling by 2 chains. One chain is 46 centimeters long and forms a 60-degree angle with the ceiling. The other chain is 64 centimeters long. What angle does the longer chain make with the ceiling? Okay, so I always draw a picture. You're not going to do these without drawing a picture, because you're just going to plug things into the wrong spot, get wrong numbers, and it's just going to be a disaster. Whereas if you just draw a picture from the beginning, you at least have a fighting chance. Okay, so here's the ceiling. Okay, it's crooked, much like the ceilings in this building. So then we got a chandelier. I don't know how to draw a chandelier. I don't know. I was going to draw a little candle, but no. There's your chandelier. Okay? Now, there's 2 chains. One's attaching and the other one's attaching, but we know that the shorter one, so the 46 centimeter one, it forms an angle of 60 degrees with the ceiling. Everybody see that? And then on the other side, this chain here on the left is 64 centimeters. Okay, this question's asking you for what angle does the longer chain make with the ceiling? So this right here, it wants this. Okay, the red angle. So you can go ahead. We can label this triangle. We can label it ABC, that's fine. Okay? So I'm just going to say A is here, B is here, and C. Oh, C for chandelier. Look at how well that worked out. I know. Okay? C is up here, little c. Little a is the 46, and little b is the 64. Okay? So, now we're going to write out sine law, just to get practice. So, sine of A over A equal to sine of B over B is equal to sine of C over C. Then we can say, okay, well, what information do I have? I can go back now. I know little a is 46, right? So I know that. I know angle B, right? And I know side length B. What's the one thing it's asking me for? Angle A. So we're just going to solve for angle A. Right? So just plug in the information that we know, and away we go. So we get sine of A, angle A, over 46 is equal to sine of 60 over 64. At this stage we can cross multiply. Right? Well, we don't, the thing with C is we don't actually know what the angle is, so that's useless. And then we don't know its side length either. You just forget about it. If you don't know it, if it's not useful, then you don't need it. You only need 2 of the 3 pieces, but they're all there in case you have some information and not others. Okay? Okay, so cross multiply. 46 times sine 60 is equal to 64 times sine A. This is a nice one. We can divide both sides by 64. And we get sine of A is equal to 46 sine of 60. I promise I'll show you guys how to use a calculator today, okay? I can't do it in the videos, it messes it up. Okay. 46, where's 46 degrees on your trig table, and then you go over and read sine. You should get 0.7193 divided by 64. Yep. Like to hear?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, I see what you did to like later, but then, what did you do to the next?
The next what, sorry?
The next line. Like, what did you?
These two, I divided both sides by 64, right? You agree with that? So then they cancel.
Okay.
And that's where you're at. You have sine A.
And then you, okay.
And then we're just gonna, and then, sorry, this here is from the trig table for sine 60. Okay? So, you're just solving now. You're just gonna type this in your calculator. Does anybody have a number? I just need a decimal. You should get a decimal number, right? Okay. That's obviously not an angle, right? But it is a decimal. You have a table full of decimals. So let's go find that underneath the sine column. 0.6224. It's gonna be somewhere between 38 and 39. I don't know. You could say it's 38 and a half.
Isn't it better to just have a whole number as an angle?
No, not necessarily. You can have decimal angles.
What happened to the 60?
Just make it more simple though. Like
It's fine. I don't care. Whatever. I'm gonna take 38 or 39. It doesn't matter.
What happened to the 64 that was
I divided. They would have gotten a number for the top, and then divided that number by 64, and that should be that. Okay. So you should get for angle A, I don't know, 39 degrees, let's say.
How did you get 9 degrees? Sorry, 39 degrees?
You go to the trig table. You have your trig table. I'll show you guys how to use a calculator. I don't like the first time seeing this. It's not like you make it. The calculator makes it harder the first time you see this. For exactly this reason, because you don't know what to do. Are you doing the sine of 0.6224, or are you doing sine inverse of that? Sine inverse is a brand new term to you. Like, you don't even know what that means. Right? I think the table, you just go, oh, I got a decimal. I'm going to go find the decimal underneath the sign, and then I'm going to read off the angle. Done. There's no thinking. Zero thinking whatsoever.
I feel like when you get used to it, like you just know whether.
No, I know. You get used to it. But
I feel like it's just easier to just type it in the calculator instead of looking for that exact decimal.
some of you might be. Yeah, you're a little further ahead than where everybody else is. This is like we have never seen sine law. We've never seen SOHCAHTOA. Right? So to solve for an angle, it just adds an extra layer of like difficulty for what? To get the same answer. I think coming out of the gate here, the important part is that you guys can use sine law or SOHCAHTOA. It shouldn't be, can I get an answer after I've done all this work? Right, yeah. 6.5 is cosine law, and then that's it. Okay? Is everybody okay with that? How we got 39 off the table? I'll show you how to use a calculator just because you'll need, I don't know if you'll need it later or something. If you take grade 11 physics, you'll need it. Okay? Here we go with the helicopters again, okay? 2 helicopters flying at the same altitude spot a boat in distress on the water below and between them. Okay? The helicopters are 1.2 kilometers apart, and the angles, okay, so the angles, you can read the question. The angles of depression are 53 and 42, okay? The Coast Guard's basically trying to determine which helicopter to send to the boat, okay? So let's draw the picture. So we've got a helicopter. They're both at the same altitude, right? And then there's a we've got a boat in distress. That's a pretty good boat, actually. I'm quite happy with that. The boat's sinking. Okay. Now, obviously these 2 helicopters are at the same altitude, so that's kind of what you're treating as your horizontal. Right? And then you're going to measure, you've got these 2 lines of sight basically, right? One of the helicopters measures an angle of depression of 53 degrees. And the other one measures 42 degrees. Okay, but then it tells you that the 2 helicopters are 1.2 kilometers apart. Okay, I want you to look at that for a second. Now the Coast Guard's going to have to make a decision as to who's closer to the boat. Right? How are they going to do that? So basically, what information are we going to like need in this question? Should be your question. Like, if you're the Coast Guard, how are you going to know which helicopter to send there? What information am I trying to find here? What do these 2 side lengths represent? Hey? Yeah, that's how far each helicopter is from the boat, right? So I'm going to have to solve for those 2 side lengths, see which one's smaller, and then that's the helicopter that you're going to send there.
I mean, this question doesn't even make sense. If they're both close enough, why doesn't one of them just,
I don't know.
like, if they do the math.
By the time we do the calculation, the boat would have sank. No, but in all seriousness, no, like there's so much data from think about your car's GPS and how much data that has in it, right? It's very easy for somebody to write a code under these circumstances, right? That just automatically spits out who's where when and who's closer. You know what I mean?
Can you imagine the people in the boat?
Just one sec, I gotta do side law and see who's closer. You know what I mean? You saw I can build sine law in Excel. That's fundamentally a very basic program relative to some of the programs in your car's GPS, or especially a tactical helicopter. You know what I mean? They know where those helicopters are at all times. You know what I mean? It's probably the same thing with dispatch with the police car. They know where all those cruises are at any given time. They're all marked with GPS. So then dispatch is looking at the relative location of each cruiser, and then imagine there's probably a code that says you could get there in like 2 minutes if you took this versus somebody else. You know what I mean? Like if they're close to the 401 and need to get to the West End or something, there's probably something that exists. You know? I'm just thinking off the top of my head.
But also at that point, I mean, there's two helicopters there. Why don't they both?
They just both go, yeah. They're not. Well, we'll see. We'll see how.
We got to practice sign.
We gotta practice sign law.
We gotta practice. That's what it's gonna be.
Yeah. Okay. So let's just label the triangle ABC. Okay. And then figure out the information that we need and solve for both. Okay. So let's call this triangle A, B, and C. Okay. C for capsized.
You're on roll today.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Okay. So opposite of C is going to be little c. Opposite of capital B is little b. Opposite of capital A is little a. Okay. Let's write sine law out. Okay, let's start filling in some information. Okay, sine of A, we go sine of 53 over, I don't know what A is, that's a problem. Okay, let's go to the next one. Sine of B, this is sine of 42 over B. Okay. I can't use those two things, right? This is why, Coco, all three are written down, right? Because this is useless to me. I can't solve for anything, right? But if I write the third one, you might still be in trouble, right? But, so you can see how, like, in any given of these two ratios, any of them, if you chose the first and the last, you still know 2 of 4, which is useless, right? But there is something else that we can apply to this triangle. We can find angle C. How can we do that? All 3 side lengths have to add to 180, right? So we can find angle C by going 180 minus 53 minus 42. What's that number? Okay, that's good. So now we know that that is 85 degrees. So now I can plug that into C. Now I could use either, well, both. I need to know B and I also need to know A. So you're gonna have to do this calculation twice and then make a decision, right? But in both instances, you're gonna use sine C over C. Okay. So let's just do side length. I don't know, let's do side length A first, okay? So we're gonna go sine of 53 over A is equal to sine of 85 over 1.2. Okay, so then you're gonna get 1.2 sine 53 is equal to A sine 85. Is everybody okay? I'm gonna condense this down so I got some room. Everybody can still read that, okay? Not too small. So then I'm gonna divide both sides by sine 85. And so A is equal to sine of 53, you go find 53 degrees, 0.7986, and that's divided by Go find 85. That's 0.9962. Okay, I'll highlight these so you can see what went where. Okay, what's the final number for side length A? You're just typing that into your calculator, right? You guys tell me a number. Hey. Okay, did we get a number here? Sophia, yes.
0.9611.
Okay, what does that mean? What are the units? I guess is what the question. Because your question is like, is this reasonable? You're like 0.96. What is that? Is it in meters or is it? It's in kilometers. So that seems like it's reasonable, right? Because remember that the distance between the two helicopters was 1.2, right? So that seems okay. So then we're going to do the exact same calculations you guys just finished doing over here to find B. Once you have B, you can make a decision as to who's closer. Does that make sense? Yes, Ella?
You cannot use the Pythagorean theorem.
What is, it's a good question. What is the issue with this?
It's not a right angle.
Thank you, very good, yes. It's not, do you see any 90 degrees in there? Can use the stuff we did in the first 3 lessons. Okay, that's why this exists. It allows us to solve these weird triangles. Okay, Coco?
So, sorry, going back again.
Yeah.
This is the one at the very bottom. So for the second part, where did you get the denominator from? Is that from 53 divided by 83?
53. You mean the blue piece?
Yeah, at the bottom of the second.
This one?
No, the one over.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
That's in the trig table. Go find 85 on the table, and then read off sine, the decimal value underneath.
What does it say? But you just punch it in.
Yeah, now you're typing into the calculator now to get an answer. Is that okay? Okay. So let's do, I just need to find B here. So we're going to divide both sides by sine 85. Okay, then they cancel, so B is equal to 1.2. We go find 42. Where's 42 on our trig table? It's near the bottom of the left column. We're still under sine. That's nice. You don't have to worry about the cosine and tangent columns because we're only using sine. So 1.2 times 0.6691 divided by sine of 85. We should see that somewhere already. 0.9962. Who's got a number?
0.8059.
Okay. Who's closer? Okay, because it's closer.
Well, did you just leave mine out because all the percentages are there?
It'll be a search and rescue mission at this point. Okay. Again, I can build this into Excel, right? And then you throw in information and it spit out the answer in whatever amount of time. You saw how quickly it can do it, right? And Excel is by no means the most complicated programming program out there, right?
So this is explaining to me. Does that just mean like the helicopter should respond to the closer?
Yeah, because of the side lengths of the triangles, right? You're just gonna talk about this side length is shorter than this one.
So like when you say explain though, like how do you feel?
You just talk about your answers relative to one another. Yes, Tobias?
Why don't they both go, both of the helicopters land, in case there's more survivors than they can take?
Maybe,
Helicopter.
I don't know. Maybe one has, I don't know. Maybe with helicopters, it's a big fueling issue too, right?
I'm just saying.
Well, I'm just saying too, like fuel's a big deal with helicopters. Like those motors consume gas like crazy.
But you also don't want to leave people behind.
No. Well, I don't know.
Just send a boat.
Can we not lose sight of the bigger picture here? I just taught you how to use sine law. I just gave you a silly question. Let's not pull it apart too bad. Okay? There you go. That's sine law.